You got the idea of what we're trying to do here. Okay, next thing is communications between FO and FDC. Main thing about this is that you're not really carrying a conversation with the forward observer. You're just responding to what he's saying. So in general, a conversation between an FO and an FDC or a battery commander would just be the FO say, dropkick, this is God hand, a fire mission, grid, over. And I'll just say, God hand is dropkick, fire mission, grid, out. And then he would have to call me again if he needs anything else, because in real life an FDC is a fucking busy place. So they just say, okay, out, okay, out, okay, out, and they write stuff down. But you need to reinitiate communications with them every time. And you might as well do this in UO just to make sure that we're all speaking the same language. If you know what you're doing, you can do this extremely fast. You can, this doesn't have to take more than 30 seconds. If you don't know what you're doing, you can easily carry on a conversation for 5 minutes just to get a fire mission going. So I've got to go over what you need, what kind of information you could get from an FO, and what you need as a bare minimum. A lot of this information that I'm going to tell you now is something the FO can ask for, but if he doesn't ask for it, then you shouldn't think about it. It's his job to find out what he wants. Okay. So there's 3 elements of a call for fire. There's the observer identification and a warning order. Observer identification is important because some observers will have priority over others. And his warning order should be fire mission, and most preferably he could start out by saying fire mission grid, fire mission shift, or fire mission polar, just so you know what you need to get ready for. If he doesn't say anything, but he just said fire mission, then just assume that it's grid mission. In the warning order, he has and there are 5 different requests as well. He can say he needs an adjust fire mission, a fire for effect mission, suppression mission, an intermediate suppression mission, and an immediate smoke mission. Adjust fire mission is if he's unsure of his initial grid, or if the enemy is changing position like that, then he would ask adjust fire mission, and then would throw a couple of rounds, and he would adjust the fire based on where those rounds land. A fire for effect mission is if he's positively certain that this is the grid where the enemy is. Then he would just go ahead and say fire for effect. Suppression is pretty much the same as fire for effect. It's just with the purpose of suppressing the enemy, not necessarily killing them all. Immediate suppression is if he doesn't care how accurate the rounds are. He just needs them on target ASAP, because he needs to stop an enemy advance or something like that. And then immediate smoke, same thing. We just need to screen something real fast. Are there any questions on the warning order? Okay. Next thing is target location. Again, this can be given by grid, polar, or shift fire mission. And preferably a grid. If he doesn't say that he's going to do a polar or shift, just assume it's a grid mission. So phase 1, observer identification, warning order. Phase 2, target location. Phase 3, this is the heavy stuff. That's the target description, the method of engagement, and the method of fire control. Anyone remember what a method of engagement was?
What? Sorry, what?
The method of engagement.
High, low, right, high angle, low angle?
Nope.
The ammunition?
Yes, the ammunition. What type of ammo are we going to use for this? So that's what he's going to ask for here in phase 3. And that's in conjunction with the target description. And can anyone tell me what method of fire control is?
Fire when ready, or fire at my command?
Yes, exactly. He tells them when he wants to fire. and how he wants it controlled. Does he want it controlled by time, or by his command, or at the battery's own behest? Okay, first off, the target description. Then this is why you need to listen up as an FDC and decide whether this is a necessary call for fire or not. So he would say, what type of target do we have? Is it troops, equipment, a supply dump, trucks, etc.? What is the target doing? Is it digging in? Is it in assembly area? Is it advancing? Is it defending? Again, depending on the situation, this might be something where you'd have to say no or yes to. And lastly, the number of elements. Is it a squad? Is it a platoon? Is it 3 trucks, 6 tanks? What the fuck? How many guys are we looking at? Again, if he says it's just a squad digging in, fuck that. We're not gonna waste rounds on that. But if he says it's a platoon of tanks advancing, okay, might be a priority target. Last thing is degree of protection. No, it's not even the last thing. What the fuck? Write this better. Okay, we have degree of protection. Are the enemies in the open? In foxholes, in bunkers, do they have overhead protection, stuff like that. This relates to what type of fuse we're going to use. If we know they're in foxholes, we might want to either use proximity fuses or delay fuses, if they're in bunkers, for instance. And then we also have the target size and shape, if this has a significance. If he doesn't tell you anything, just assume it's a circle you're going to shoot at. But if he tells you anything different, he might say it's a 200 meter circle, or it is a rectangular target that is 50 meters wide, 300 meters long, altitude 04400, for instance. That pretty much takes care of target description. Then method of engagement. That's after the FO gives the target description. Then he, based on that, he should know what he wants, what kind of ammo he wants there. But this is what the FDC also has something to say, because if you see FO sees a bunch of tanks in the open, and he wants HE delay on them in order to destroy his tanks, then the FO could, or the FDC could say, no, I only have 30 HE rounds, and I'm not gonna go ahead and waste 15 of those on killing tanks when I can just throw some rams at them or stuff like that. Sorry. Okay. Real quick question. No, okay. This is all getting very technical. Please advise me if you have anything that doesn't make sense at this point. Okay, clever bunch here. Okay, then you've got the method of engagement. This is where you get to decide something, other than whether you're gonna do this or not. Here you decide what kind of ammo you're gonna use. For instance, as I said before, HE delay on tanks. Yeah, I have SAT arms. I'm gonna use the SAT arms. Or he asks for DPICM on a platoon in the open, and you decide, nah, I'm running low on DPICM, so I'm gonna use HE time instead. Stuff like that. Then we have types of adjustment. Mostly it's this is rarely used, but you still need to know it. There's something called precision fire. That's something the FO has to request, and that's where you only use one gun, and you do what's called a creeping adjustment, where every single shot you get an adjustment, saying, for instance, 50 meters forward, or at 50. Oh wait, now we're getting pretty close. You're just overshot. Drop 25. Add 10. Drop 5. There it is. And now we're on target. Then once we're on this pinpoint target, the FO can request what's called destruction. If for instance, if we're shooting at a bunker with HE delay, and we finally crept onto that target, then he can say destruction, and then you pretty much just keep shooting until the FO says ceasefire, and the target is destroyed. It's rarely used because it takes really long time, and you rarely gain anything from it. But if you can do this, this is also very useful. Next thing is, of course, danger close. If less than 300 or 600 meters, the FO tells that he is danger close, and that should make you think as an FDC. Okay, we know the friendlies are to the west of this target, so we should shoot at the east side of the target. So you might want to change the grid he gives you just because you don't want to risk hitting friendlies. There is also a request for a mark. That could be if he's calling in air support, and he just need a wise phosphorus round to mark where the plane should hit. Then he would tell you that in either in the warning order or somewhere else that he just needs a mark mission. So 1 round will be. Okay. Lastly, we also have some different kinds of fire. Of course, we talked about fire and ready, and time on target, or at the FO's command. We also have something called continuous fire, and that could be if, for instance, the enemy is advancing down a road. You're shooting at the road, and you're just gonna do what's called continuous fire. Just keep shooting at the same spot in the road, and either do that to stop the enemy, or hope that the enemy is dumb enough to try and push through, and just keep shelling his convoy as he moves along the road. It could also be the enemy is trying to come at you through a tree line, and like in We Were Soldiers, where they just keep dropping rounds on the same target because the North Vietnamese just keep raging through in the same spot. So that would be a request for continuous fire. And that's just sustained fire, but as highest rate of fire as possible until the FO requests you to cease fire. The same thing goes for illumination. You can do what's called a continuous illumination. It's not as fast as possible. That's taking into account the burn time of the illum round. So if you know the illum round burns for 40 seconds, then every 30 seconds you're going to shoot an illum round. And if we're going to get really complicated, we can coordinate our illumination and the rest of the battery's operations, so that one gun will every 30 seconds will fire an illum round, but the rest of the time will fire HE or whatever it's asked to be firing. It's pretty complex, but you can do it. Okay. I'm getting sick and tired of talking here. Last thing, just going over a message to observer again. That's once you've done your solution, as we talked about before. Once you've done your solution, the fire mission solution, and all the stuff, you need to give a message to the observer, telling him what you're doing. So that would be the battery information. For instance, we could have 3 different batteries with different capabilities. Then you would say, Yankee battery ready, or Bravo battery ready, or something like that. Then you say the type of rounds, what kind of rounds you're going to be using, white phosphorus, for instance. Then the number of rounds. That means how many volleys you're going to shoot at. That means how many times each gun is going to shoot. It's not the total number of rounds. It's the number of rounds per gun. If you don't use an entire battery, you'll also tell, I'm only using 2 guns, by the way. So it'll be 2 guns, 3 rounds, for instance. And then we use what's called a target mission identifier, and that's that would be like we mark a target called we've called it Charlie Bravo 101, for instance. And that's just a reference both for the FDC, so he can look up his mission called Charlie Bravo 101, oh yeah, that one, and just say, okay, repeat the fire mission Charlie Bravo 101. Or it could be for FOs saying, oh, the enemy just turned up at Charlie Bravo 101 again, and then you can pretty much repeat that mission right away instead of having to recalculate the mission. It's not done that good in ArmA, but you can do it in real life. Almost finished here.
I have a question.
Wait one. Yeah, go ahead.
And when do I have to command the fire mission to my battery, before the mission to the before the message to the FO, or after?
Before. The first thing you're gonna figure out, gotta get the request, and then you gotta figure out what you want to do about that particular request. For instance, yeah, as we talked about. Once you've done that, then you tell your battery, get ready to do this mission, and tell them what they need to do. Then you call the FO and give him your message to observer. So basically telling him what your battery is doing right now. Then last thing in the message to observer is time of flight. So real quick, battery information, type of rounds assigned, number of rounds assigned, target mission identifier, and the time of flight. Then you probably heard that a couple of times, that we also give some information that's called shot, and we have some other words: shot, rounds complete, splash. Can anyone take a wild guess what those means?
Shot is when you fired off your first round to the FO, so he knows the shot's out. Splash is when the round should be hitting. And what was the last one you said?
Rounds
complete.
complete.
Rounds complete. Yeah, that's when you finished your bombardment for that fire mission.
Exactly. So and shot is only the first round. I had a FDC once who called out every single shot, and that's just spamming the net, frankly. So pretty much when you give your message to observer, you will it will usually end with you saying shot, because while you were giving the message to observer, the battery got ready and reported in that they were ready, and then you just say shot. Especially if the fire wasn't ready. Otherwise, you give the message to observer. Now he knows everything, and then he says, "Okay, fire," and then he'll relay. The FDC will relay the order fire. The battery will say shot. The FDC would send the message shot. And again, this we don't like to talk too much on the fire support net, so it would just be dropkick. This is God hand shot. Shot over, and then dropkick would just say shot out, and then our conversation is over. Then depending on what kind of mission we're firing, then either before the splash or after the splash, depending on how long we're shooting and how far we're shooting, we'll end up saying splash over, dropkick this God hand splash over, and then dropkick splash out. And that's just so we have to give the splash before the impact, so that dropkick can tell the friendly units in the area, artillery coming in, get down. And then once he's done that, he calls back splash out. Or when he sees the splash, he can also just call splash out. And lastly, rounds complete. That's when the last gun has fired the last round. And that's so the FO knows. Okay, the time of flight was 47 seconds. And now he said rounds complete. So in 47 seconds, the last round's hitting the ground. Okay, this is actually all the theory. I don't expect you to remember half of it, because we went over it pretty quickly, and they haven't given you any reading materials. But there's object pricing. Are there any questions for now?
Yeah, sorry, do you actually have any written material to come with the class?
Yeah. I'll actually throw you that link right away, so you have something to read. God damn it, hate you, Internet Explorer.
That's why you're actually using Internet Explorer?
No, I just accidentally clicked it.
That's what he says.
Yeah. There we go. The reason I didn't give you this initially was because people usually respond with getting a link like this as I'm not gonna read 40 pages, but this is the bare minimum of knowledge you actually need to act as an FDC / FO. So if you look TeamSpeak, you should see a link right there.
I just linked that to just a second ago.
Okay, sweet. Yuki. How many guys are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we could basically make 2 platoons. 2 small platoons.
You said 10?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna need another gun because I only got 4 guns over there.
Yeah, we could just do that.
9. 9 plus you gold hands.
Yeah, I lost the ability to count. That's awesome. Okay, so this is just what we're gonna do. Gentle and Oscar's gun 1. Trillingen and Steffen gun 2. Tazel and Nikalos gun 2. We're gun 4 was it? Wait, no, I can't count anymore.
Yeah, looks like we have buddies.
Chris and Rich gun 4. And Mike gun 5. So, ladies, follow me. Oh wait, we need radios. So all of you grab a 117 Foxtrot and a 343.
Truck, are you still in there? Okay.
They got him.
Yep.
All targets in Dubrovka are pre-plotted for their grids. Everything Krasnostav we haven't plotted yet.
Okay, sweet. So